Ciao Juventus fans, welcome back to the channel. I apologize to everybody who was disappointed, but I am back and I'm going to be the one giving you the news again today. I want to take the time right now to thank Julian for all of his hard work the last couple of days covering the news, covering all the information going on, and then honestly just going live and chatting with you all throughout all of it. Luckily, I was able to, sorry, allergies are making me hard to breathe. My nose is, for having a big nose, it doesn't help. It doesn't help me breathe at all through it. So anyway, I just want to take this time to say thank you very much to Julian for all of his hard work. He's still going to be around doing lives every day as well. So I apologize, like I said, to you all that are disappointed, but I'm back doing this. I'm back, baby. So anyway, let's get into it. Anyway, so just to start off, the main topics of the day that we've got are Sassuolo are meeting today with Juventus regarding Locatelli. You know, I guess it's a good time to come back. I feel like we're going to have some serious news dropping very soon. We'll see what happens. We'll monitor that. We may even go live once things break. I'm sure we will. But feel free to hang around, talk with us. I'm excited. Oh, and also before I go into anything else, we're doing a live tonight, Julian and myself, to talk about some of the news, some of the happenings. We haven't gotten a chance, or the two of us, to talk about the Euros and everything that happened. So we're going to dive into that as well. Anyway. And then we've also got Sirigu is off the table and Perin is confirmed. The situation with the goalkeeper finally shaking out when it comes to the club. Good or bad, however you want to take that, honestly. And then we've got Arthur is doing fine. We'll talk about a whirlwind of information with him. Let's jump into it and we'll cover it now. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today is, wait, my days are mixed up. It is Thursday, and that would be July 15th, 2021. Not bad. Try to remember that. Sorry. Again, I apologize, guys. I've been out of town for the last 3 or 4 days on a serious matter with my my day job, but I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back with you all. And let's just talk about the news. We'll go ahead and start it. But before we do anything, remember, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And when I talk about this, I do want to say it's a pain. I understand. It's annoying. I was a guy who before never really messed with it. I've been on, heck, since I was in high school back in 2004 watching YouTube. I did not realize how important hitting that like button was. So now I ask you as a hypocrite, please hit that like button now. It really makes a difference for our channel. And we really are just trying to grow and see what we can do more as a community. So please do that now. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So our first news of the day involves the situation, what I'm going to talk about, Manuel, Locatelli, and Sassuolo. So finally, the Euros are over. I want to say finally. Unfortunately, it's not really finally. I was enjoying it. I was really taking it all in. But now we can focus on Juventus, the season starting. Allegri is today, having that first bit of practice and all that together. Obviously, not all the players are back, especially the main players. But now we can start getting into the real matters, the real issues, the reason why we're here. And let's talk about Mercato, the new players that are coming in or hoping to come in. So regarding Locatelli, we have the first bit of news we have for him, and that is Tutto Sport. And they're saying that in the meeting, Juventus will offer cash and Dragusin or Fagioli, or Fagioli. And Sassuolo value Locatelli at 40 million euros. We know that. We know that they're trying to get as close to that. And, we know the nonsense that's been going on with Sassuolo, trying to get as much money as possible, trying to drag other clubs into it to try to put pressure on Juventus. But it seems that, the situation with Locatelli seems advantageous for Juventus for now, at least. Actually, let me jump in and go and talk about the other news regarding the situation. Gazzetta dello Sport is saying that Sassuolo are now open to include a player in the deal. A meeting between Cherubini and Carnevale will take place today. So, again, it's been such a whirlwind back and forth, the tug of war between Juventus and Sassuolo and the situation with the two clubs. We hear every day, Sassuolo want their money, and I can't blame them. They're a small club. They want to get the money that they can for this player. He's a top talent, so he's definitely worth some money. When I say top talent, he's a top growing young Italian talent. Maybe he's not. Whatever name you want to put on it. I'm not going to say names because then I'll get roasted for whatever reasons. Anyway, he's he's their top talent that they have to produce. That definitely is an interest to higher level clubs. They want to get their money out of it, and that's the whole deal with the situation. But the first real I don't want to say breakthrough news, but we've had talks about potentially trying to put Dragustin, trying to put Fagioli, whoever out there for this deal to get it done. And as it stands, it stood for a while. That was the kind of agreed upon. I apologize. I don't know why I just breathed in like that. That was really odd. It's allergies. I can't breathe through my nose right now. It's all mouth breathing. Lovely. Anyway, the whole deal with that, the situation with the Dragustin was originally on the table. We're talking about him going there, and then all of a sudden they 180 and we're basically just saying, no. We want the money. Just give us some money. We want it now. Whatever that commercial says, Anyway, as it stands, it appears that they may be realizing and backtracking a little bit. And we have to thank Locatelli for this a bit, because he's been very persistent that he wants Juventus, and that's the only place he's really going to sign off on going. It's a dream for his family to have him play in the black and white. So regardless, I'm thankful for that, but really it appears that maybe they're opening to, dropping that price a little bit with the addition of a player. When we're going to talk about the players, obviously for me, and I know we have some Romanian fans, and I appreciate y'all, Dragustin would be my option. But the reason I say this is not because I don't want Dragustin in the program, going forward. It's more of this would be under the conditions of putting a buyback option or buyback clause in it down the road. We'll see if they'll agree to it. But Dragustin needs to have a place where he can play more, develop, and grow. He's not going to have that right now with Juventus, especially when you've got, you got a long line there, especially Chiellini and Bonucci coming back, and Chiellini and Bonucci, playing as they did over the last few weeks with the Italian national team. It's really just been like a rebirth for them. I'm going to say rebirth. I just mean, there've been some negative comments about both of their play, injuries more when it comes to Chiellini, Bonucci, ass guarding, all that stuff instead. But when the two of them together, they're great. So you have that going forward. Then you got De Ligt, and then you have the situation with Demiral. What will happen with there? Anyway, as it stands right now, my option would be Dragustin, mainly just because Fagioli could be a good one for the future, especially our midfield. When we need to inject somebody in there, he could be more useful. Hopefully for the future, we'll see. Maybe Allegri doesn't agree with me. Regardless, we'll see what happens there. But when I say about Dragustin, I would like to insert a buyback option. So that way, if he does develop and he takes off, he can come back to Juventus. But it's good for him right now to get more playing time somewhere else. And it might just be beneficial to everybody to get the Locatelli deal done using this. Let's move on to the next story of the day. The next story of the day that I have for you is a little bit of a new Dybala update. Basically, it's saying that Dybala and Juventus are close to getting a deal done. Calcio Mercato is reporting the difference between offer and demand is not much. An agreement for the renewal of Dybala's contract could be found next week. I usually try to find a reason to prattle on about nonsense, but honestly, there's nothing really more to say here. That's good. I'm glad to see they're on the same page. Let's get it done. Let's move forward and let's progress, so that way we can worry about the other areas that Juventus needs right now. Speaking of other areas that Juventus needs, we're going to talk about the situation regarding the goalkeepers at Juventus. So we have Sky Italia is reporting that Sirigu is close to signing for Genoa, meaning that Perin will stay to be the backup goalkeeper at Juventus. Also, following this, I think we don't have it on here, but later Fabrizio Romano also reported and confirmed the status that Sirigu is going to Genoa. They canceled or whatever the situation with his contract at Torino, and he will be Genoa's next goalkeeper, which definitely kicks Perin out of there. So it leaves that option out of him, and that means he'll be the backup keeper. I think to me, those are the two options. I probably had Sirigu a little bit higher, but Perin is younger. He definitely has a ways he can grow and develop. So I would be interested to see if he can do that. I understand Perin's not happy about the situation. He wanted to be the starting keeper somewhere, so that way he can develop. And again, I'm all for, you want to be the starting keeper. The reason you want to do that is so that way you can, join the national team, which is just a sense of pride. And, how much I love the Azzurri. So I definitely respect that sentiment. Hopefully he can do similar with Juventus, especially if he gets more playing time, if Szczesny has issues going on this season. We'll keep an eye on that situation. But maybe he'll get some PT. Maybe Allegri might work him in a little bit. But anyway, that seems to resolve the goalkeeper situation, so we can take that off the platter, or whatever you want to call it, for the situation for the Mercato for this year. So now we're really looking at obviously midfielder Locatelli. Then we're looking at maybe a second striker, a whatever you want to call it, third, fourth, whatever striker situation. And then maybe if we're lucky, the left back situation. So we'll see what happens going on. Moving on, let's talk about Bernardeschi. So we have Di was reporting that after a complicated season with Juventus, Bernardeschi should stay at Juventus in search of the definitive relaunch of his career. Not super surprising to me. Like I said, I talked about it in the outgoing transfer meter show about basically the situation with Bernardeschi right now. He's not a priority because you have so many other things to work on for Juventus that really trying to get him and sold and move him is really not the highest priority and not the option right now, especially when you only have a little bit left on its contract going forward. So right now, yeah, more than likely I expected him to stay. I say more than likely a lot. Apologize. Anyway, but there was that sentiment that Allegri feels like that maybe he can relaunch his career. I know I'm just quoting what they're saying, but maybe in more of a defensive format. Where there were some times that he stepped up in a defensive role, and I actually was surprised that he did well. I remember they weren't all great, but there were a couple times that he played decently. So I don't know. I'm gonna sit back for the season, just watch as a fan, and just see what Allegri can do here before saying definitively, which I know a lot of people have been doing this for years, that he needs to leave. So then we will move on to our other story of the day, and that is Demiral. Basically, there's not really a lot going off of this topic, but Tutto Sports is reporting Juventus want at least 35 million euros for Demiral, who wants more playing time. Again, we know he wants more playing time, but the big news here is Juventus have lowered that price a little bit. They were looking at between 40 to 45 million euros. Now you're going all the way down to 35 million euros. So that makes a difference. With the one thing I think about here is, and again, I like Demiral. I think he had some, he had the potential to be that other teammate or, duo with De Ligt going forward. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen now. He had an unfortunate stint in the Euros this year. But these things happen. But at the same time, I wonder if lowering that price may open the doorway for some of these clubs that can't afford as much. Maybe, an Atalanta or whatever to come step back in to the situation. Maybe I'm just being, I'm fanboy dreaming over here. Basically fanboy dreaming that maybe you work him in there. I know Juventus doesn't want to work in a swap deal or anything like that. Maybe you can work him in and maybe the name Gosens comes back up. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I'm probably just dreaming here. More than likely, again, I'm only expecting when it comes to transfers to really read two names at the end of the season. But that's me. Then let's see what else we got. Did I miss anything? Sorry, I'm doing a little bit off the cuff and a little bit different today than I normally have listed in front of me. Let's see. And then the last bit of news of the day really just is regarding to Arthur Melo. Basically, Tutto Mercato Web is reporting saying that Arthur, however you want to say it, or not how you want to say it, but however you say it properly, is doing great and a surgery is not needed at the moment. I don't know. Sure. I guess he's doing great. Let's see what happens. Let's watch. I'm going to sit back because I don't know if I fully trust this, and maybe I'll be, whatever, eating crow or whatever you want to call it in the end. And maybe he made a smart decision and he didn't really need it at all. And he's actually fine. We'll see. We'll monitor how he does in the preseason. If for some reason he ends up going down with an injury because of this and because it's not treated. If not, if he's fine and he really did, maybe doctors gave him the proper advice and all that, and maybe he really can do and participate in the season from the beginning. More power to you. That's great. Suit up and let's go. Otherwise, I still have, these feelings of, I don't want to say regret or whatever, but more annoyance just with the situation that it wasn't handled already. Of course, I don't know what kind of medical advice he is receiving, with this situation. But the latest we have, Arthur's doing much better. He's going to be playing and he should be fine, I guess. All right, but that's all I really have for you today. Make sure you check in with us tomorrow for your latest rundown of all things Juventus, the news and whatever's going on. We're really trying to turn it up with some of these live streams. Appreciate all of you that do show up. Remember, check us in tonight, or check in with us tonight. We're going live. We're going to be talking about some things. I guess depending where you're going, it's more like late afternoon, early evening for me. But check in with us and we'll give you the latest rundown of all things Juventus. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you also ring that bell. I don't know why I'm pointing to stuff like I'm putting icons here. I'm not doing that yet. Later I'll get to it. Anyway, but make sure you also ring that bell. Just also stay up to date by following us on Twitter at bianconerizone, and also on Instagram, and follow me at Justin Sofro on Twitter. Forza Juve and Forza Bianconeri.